Testing the mic. Hope it works. And let's see. Good morning, everyone. So I thought what I'll do with this check-in is to share some of my favorite things, which are books or words, and maybe my all-time favorite thing. And yeah, so let me go with number one, which is poetry. Autumn Day by Rainer Maria Rilke. Lord, it is time. The summer was so immense. Lay your shadow on the sundial and let loose the wind in the fields. Bid the last fruits to be full. Give them another 2 more southerly days. Press them to ripeness and chase the last sweetness into the heavy wine. Whoever has no house now will not build one anymore. Whoever is alone now will remain so for a long time. Will stay up, read, write long letters, and wander the avenues up and down restlessly while the leaves are blowing. So, yeah, I don't know what it says about me that my favorite books are children's books. And so, sharing readings from 2 of them today. The one is, the whole Pooh collection. This is the complete Winnie the Pooh. Oh, I don't have a mirrorless camera, so unfortunately you're seeing this like a mirror image. But this is the complete Winnie the Pooh. And this is from the last chapter, which is called An Enchanted Place. Where are we going? Said Pooh, hurrying after him being Christopher Robin, and wondering whether it was to be an explore or a what shall I do about you know what. Nowhere, said Christopher Robin. So they began going there, and after they had walked a little way, Christopher Robin said, What do you like doing best in the world, Pooh? Well, said Pooh, what I like best. And then he had to stop and think, because although eating honey was a very good thing to do, there was a moment just before you began to eat it, which was better than when you were, but he didn't know what it was called. And then he thought that being with Christopher Robin was a very good thing to do, and having Piglet near was a very friendly thing to have. And so, when he had thought it all out, he said, What I like best in the whole world is me and Piglet going to see you, and you saying, What about a little something? And me saying, Well, I shouldn't mind a little something, should you, Piglet? And it being a hummy sort of day outside, and birds singing. I like that too, said Christopher Robin. But what I like doing best is nothing. How do you do nothing? Asked Pooh after he had wondered for a long time. Well, it's when people call out at you just as you're going off to do it. What are you going to do, Christopher Robin? And you say, Oh, nothing. And then you go and do it. Oh, I see, said Pooh. This is a nothing sort of thing that we're doing now. Oh, I see, said Pooh again. It means just going along, listening to all the things you can't hear and not bothering. Oh, said Pooh. So this next reading is from my other favorite book, The Education of Little Tree. It has a beautiful illustration. On the 25th anniversary edition, The Education of Little Tree was written by Forrest Carter. And it probably has one of the most beautiful forewords ever written. So if you get your hands on it, please do read that. And I'm going to read from The Secret Place, and let's see how far we get. Grandma could move quieter than a whisper through wood leaves. I followed her, and she was root gathering. I caught up to help, and me and Grandma sat down on a log to sort the roots out. I reckoned I was too young to keep a secret, for I had to tell Grandma about my place. She wasn't surprised, which surprised me. Grandma said all Cherokees had a secret place. She told me she had one and Grandpa had one. She said she had never asked, but she believed Grandpa's was on top of the mountain on the high trail. She said she reckoned most everybody had a secret place, but she couldn't be certain, as she had never made inquiries of it. Grandma said it was necessary, which made me feel right good about having one. Grandma said everybody has two minds. One of the minds has to do with the necessaries for body living. You had to use it to figure how to get shelter and eating and such like for the body. She said you had to use it to mate and have young ones and such. She said we had to have that mind so we could carry on. But she said we had another mind, and that had nothing at all to do with such. She said it was the spirit mind. Grandma said if you use the body living mind to think greedy or mean, if you was always cutting at folks with it and figuring how to material profit of them, then you would shrink up your spirit mind to a size no bigger than a hickory nut. Grandma said that when your body died, the body living mind died with it. And if that's the way you had thought all your life, there you was, stuck with a hickory nut spirit, as the spirit mind was all that lived when everything else died. Then Grandma said, when you was born back, as you was bound to be, then there you was, born with a hickory nut spirit mind that had practical no understanding of anything. Then it might shrink up to the size of a pea and could disappear if the body living mind took over total. In such case, you lost your spirit complete. That's how you become dead people. Grandma said you could easily spot dead people. She said dead people, when they looked at a woman, saw nothing but dirty. When they looked at other people, they saw nothing but bad. When they looked at a tree, they saw nothing but lumber and profit, never beauty. Grandma said there was dead people walking around. Grandma said that the spirit mind was like any other muscle. If you used it, it got bigger and stronger. She said the only way it could get that way was using it to understand. But you couldn't open the door to it until you quit being greedy and such with your body mind. Then understanding commenced to take up. And the more you tried to understand, the bigger it got. Natural, she said. Understanding and love was the same thing. Except folks went at it backwards too many times, trying to pretend they loved things when they didn't understand them, which can't be done. I see right out that I was going to commence trying to understand practical everybody, for I sure didn't want to come up with a hickory nut spirit. Grandma said your spirit could get so big and so powerful that you would eventually know all about your past body lives and would get to where you could come out with no body death at all. Grandma said I could watch some of how it worked from my secret place. In the spring, when everything is born, and always, when anything is born, even an idea, there's frets and fuss. There's spring storms like a baby borning in blood and pain. Grandma said it was the spirits kicking up a fuss at having to get back into material forms again. Then there was the summer, our grown-up lives, and autumn, when we get older, and had that peculiar feeling in our spirits of being back in time. Some folks called it nostalgia and sadness. The winter with everything dead or seeming to be, like our bodies when they die, but born again, just like the spring. Grandma said the Cherokees knew and had learned it long ago. So I hope you enjoyed these reads. Of course, if you are not somebody for words, for books, for poetry, I assume you haven't watched this far. So enjoy this time of doing nothing, going nowhere except to the shops for necessary things. Maybe even enjoy getting into your spirit mind a lot more and exercising that, sending you all love and light, and missing many of you. You know who you are.